Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today I have got the kitchen table stamper penguin place Stamp-A-Stack for you. This Stamp-A-Stack is a Wonder Recipe number 13 Stamp-A-Stack. Wonder Recipe is a one-sheet wonder. Cut the paper and then make a whole stack of cards. And this is the design that we're doing today. This Stamp-A-Stack makes 4 of this design. Makes 10 cards altogether. It makes 4 of this design, and it makes 2 of this design. This will be a 3-video series. Let's start with this first one. There is an optional Stamp-A-Stack class pack in the Kitchen Table Stamper store. To see if there are supplies of this class pack left, go to kitchentablestamper.com/shop. On the right hand side, use the product filter, click class packets, and if we have any of these remaining, you can purchase a kit and craft along with us from there. So this is my kit, and I've done a couple of things to make my Stamp-A-Stack a little bit easier. This is exactly what your kit is going to look like. It's going to come clear packed. You're going to get your pearls, your gray granite shimmery ribbon. We do your die cutting for you. There's your little star embellishments. You get a 1/4 of a package of the Penguin Playmates paper. And we're going to start by cutting our paper, according to Wonder Recipe number 13, to make the pieces for all 10 cards. So for this one, we need 4 pieces. And I'm going to copy mine exactly, but Crafty Girls do what they want. So you can use any pieces that float your boat. You need 4 to start with. The Wonder Recipe is for a 6x6 sheet, but it's scalable. So you can make 1 6x6 sheet. You can do 4 6x6 sheets, which is the equivalent of like a 12x12. You can mix and match the pieces. We're going to cut each of these according to the diagram. So let's go ahead and we're going to stack 2 sheets because 1 at a time is for suckers. We're going to do 2 at a time. We're going to line up at 3 inches and we're going to cut our first cut. I keep my little Wonder Recipe template right off to the side because then we're going to rotate this and cut at 3 inches again. And we're going to sort these pieces right into the diagram. So we'll put them in the little place that they belong. Now we've got a 6x3 here. We're going to cut it in half, 1.5 by 6. And then we're going to cut off a bunch of 1.5 inch squares. So what I do is 3 and then slide that down to 1.5. Drop those in my chart. And then again, drop that down to 1.5. And drop those in my chart. All right, we've got 2 pieces all cut according to the Wonder Recipe. Now let's go ahead and cut the other 2 pieces according to the Wonder Recipe. All right, so there we are. We've got 4 sheets that are cut according to the Wonder Recipe. Now we're going to sort it out between the 10 cards. So in my packet, I've got 10 cards. This is how you'll find these packets. We've got 4 of the Just Jade design, 4 of the soft seafoam design, and then 2 of the Just Jade design. We're going to do this first design, but we're going to sort out all the papers right now. So for this design, you're going to have 2 that are freesia and 2 that are Just Jade for the 3x3 piece. And you'll notice that we did, where there's freesia, we did soft seafoam, and where there's Just Jade, we did freesia. So you're gotta just sort them out according to the samples. So we're gonna do freesia with the seafoam labels. And we're gonna do Just Jade with the freesia labels. You'll also be noticing that I did all of my backgrounds except for the ones that I'm going to demonstrate. So we don't stamp your backgrounds for you. We can't do that. It's against the Stampin' Up rules, and we'd have to stamp hundreds and hundreds. But you can go ahead and stamp all your backgrounds at one time. You'll see me demonstrate one. All right, so that's the designer series paper for this design, and it's in each of the packets. So I'm going to just take this little grid and I'm going to set it aside because this is the paper for 6 more cards. Let's take a look at what's in each of the kits and get to stamp in that background, shall we? So each of the kits is going to have the same. You get an envelope for your card and your card base. Your card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and they're all just jade. Let's work the score with the bone folder and get a background pattern applied to this. Now, I thought how perfect was the knit together background with the penguins. So cozy and cute, right? So I've got my background on the Stamparatus, and what I do when I'm doing a background is I put the background and then I stamp on the paper. Then after I stamp on the paper, then I can see exactly where I should lay my card. And we'll ink up our background and stamp. If you're doing this kit at home and you're doing the Wonder recipe and you're going to make all 10 cards, then you'll just keep inking and stamping jade sweaters. And you're really going to stamp a stack, so you're going to batch work these tasks. By the magic of television, I'm going to stamp one background here, but my other 3 are done ahead of time. So when I'm doing backgrounds on the Stamparatus, I like to just kind of hold still with one hand, just hold the pressure on and walk or slide over with the other hand and then press really good in the center. Before I move away, I would like to just take a look. Nice background. Isn't that beautiful? Cozy, isn't it? All right, let's close this guy up and take a look at the pieces that are in the kit for you. So there's our designer series paper that we cut. Oh, I forgot to get the little squares off the grid. I'm just noticing that now. That's all right. We'll do that in just a second. We have either soft seafoam or a fresh freesia cut. If you're cutting your own pieces, it's this largest label from the Stitch So Sweetly. Then we have from Misty Moonlight, 2 1/4 inch scallop circle. Cut that out of Misty Moonlight using the Layering Circles dies. For each card, we have 2 trees, and the trees are punched from just jade using the pine tree punch. And our sentiment strips for these cards are 3/8 of an inch by about 4 1/2. All right, let's go get those other patterns. All right, let's deal out the other pieces of designer series paper. So for each of these cards, we also need a 1 1/2 inch square from the grid of the soft seafoam, trees, and the multicolor stripe. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to each of the card kits. All right, everybody's got their designer series paper. Let's adhere. I'm gonna use multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to adhere these so that we have an equal border all the way around. We're going to kind of color block. So we'll lay down 1, 2, and then our third one. Now we're just going to lay these down lightly so that we can square everything up. I like the multi-purpose liquid glue for this layout because then we have a minute where we can just slide everything into position. Looks pretty good. And there is layout number 1. Now we've got our label, so we can go ahead and adhere the Misty Moonlight to the large label. Then we can adhere this to the card. And that takes care of a lot of pieces for this design. Let's go ahead and catch up the other 3 copies. All right, so you've got all 4 copies caught up. Let's take a look next. What's next? In your class package, you'll find lots of sheets of basic white. Now, some of these are for you to cut up so you can line the insides of your Just Jade's cards. They're kind of a dark color, but some of them are also for Stampin' Penguins. So let's go ahead and get our Stampin' Pierce mat and some ink pads and make some penguins for these cards. By the magic of television, I have 3 penguins already ready. Let's just do one together. Got some Misty Moonlight, Calypso Coral, Basic Gray, and Fresh Freesia. And for each card, we need 4 presents and a cute little paper doll penguin. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my little antlers here. I'm going to do 4 times. Everything I do 4 times. And then we need little feet, 2 little feet, Calypso Coral, and then a penguin. Never hurts to check the orientation of your punch before you stamp. This little guy is going to be upside down, feed into the punch upside down. So I'm going to go to the other edge of the paper here and stamp my little penguin. In your kit, you'll find Misty Moonlight, Mint Macaron, and Fresh Freesia scraps. That is for your scarves and hats. We've got 1 of each color. I've got a scrap of Misty Moonlight here. I'm going to stamp one of those scarves, Misty Moonlight on Misty Moonlight, and each one of them is stamped with the Misty Moonlight on Misty Moonlight, Freesia on Freesia, and Mint Macaron on Mint Macaron. So mix and match. You can dress them up however you like. We've got a little nose here that looks like a Rudolph nose. I'm going to do that with Calypso Coral. Such a cutie. He's like Rudolph. Now I'm going to pop this one over to my trimmer and make it easier for me to punch. I'm going to slice this guy off. We can go ahead and punch him out. Haha, cutie. Set this one aside for our next penguin because it'll be really easy to go from the other side in the next video. Or keep going like you're going to keep going to stamp a stack. And now for the presents. We need 4 presents. So we're going to do 2 with Fresh Freesia. Got my chamois here. We're going to switch colors. We need a Misty Moonlight present. And then switch colors, chamois. And our last one is Just Jade. I'm going to switch out Fresh Freesia for Just Jade here for a minute. I'll clear away all the ink pads except for Misty Moonlight. Our sentiments are Misty Moonlight, so we're going to do our sentiment strips next. Got these little 3/8 inch strips. We're going to do be cool, be chill, be merry. We're going to stamp to the right of center so we have room for the bow. Haha, love it. Now I'm going to clear away the Stampin' Pierce mat ink pads. We're going to do a little cutting. Got my 4 presents for each card. Let's go ahead and trim those out. I'm going to fussy cut my presents and my antlers. We can punch out the little feet. And we're going to fussy cut the scarf. So these little guys will slide right into the punch. And we'll get that. 1, 2, 2 for each penguin. Got a little scarf for each penguin. I'm going to cut these out, the little presents, the scarf, the antlers, and I'll meet you right back here and we'll put together our penguin. All right, so we're back with all of our little presents and penguins. I didn't even show you the Penguin Play stamp set. Oh, that's so cute. You got hats and scarves, presents, and a little gift bag. I think this gift bag kind of looks like a bucket, and this kind of looks like a sand dune. So I do see penguins at the beach sometime. Little snow background and some great greetings. Let's go ahead and play penguin paper dolls and get this little guy all assembled, caught up to its brothers. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue right on the bottom of the little antler headband. What hysterical. My goodness. And then a little bit of glue on the feet. I'm going to pop him up like he's just sitting there. And I got plenty of glue for two, so we're just going to kiss these two together. And then pop them on our penguin. And then, of course, the little scarf. We'll give that one a second to dry. Hang out with your brothers over there. Slide them to the side. And let's do a couple other little things. Now, the Be Cool, Be Chill, Be Merry needs a little dovetail on the banner. So let's grab a tailored tag punch. And we'll do little chicken lips. And I've already done that on our other 3 copies. So a little detail at the ends. Then cute. I think our punched trees need a little detail, so you can go ahead and you could stamp on here. Maybe use the little snowflakes from the kit. I'm going to use the greenery folders. So the greenery folders is a 2-pack. They're the little mini folders. We're going to use this one. I don't know if the camera is catching that. There we go. It looks like a cable knit, or it looks like a knit to me. So we're going to add some texture to our trees. They're going to go from flat to textured. You can do 4 of these little trees at one time in one pass. Let's get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and do that. When you're doing these mini folders, they're not 3D folders, so they set up a little bit different. You're going to use 1, 3, and then pop your little trees in so that they line up on the pattern. Now see, you could put 1, 2, 3, 4 and do 4 at a time, 4 in a pass. It is a strong vertical pattern, so make sure, take a second, make sure that it looks good. Even when you close it, make sure that it looks nice and straight vertical, no uphill, downhill. Pop number 3 on top of there, and you're off to the races. You can do 4 at a time, and if you're doing a stamp a stack, I would do all of the trees for all of the cards, 4 at a time, and get them done. And here's our tree. Wait till you see how cool this little pattern is. You see that? Pretty awesome, isn't it? Now we've got all of our trees, all of our dovetails, all of our little penguins are assembled. Let's take a look at the kit one more time. In the kit, we've got these stars. We cut them ahead for you, and we used the new silver foil pack. Right, it's called the Silver Foil Specialty Pack. You get 1 each of the 3 sheets, but only 1 is really silver. There's kind of a lavender, and 1 is matte, and 1 is shiny with a brushed pattern. So you'll have a mix of both stars cut for you. I wanted you to see both patterns or both colors. I guess it's kind of both finishes. And so what you'll do now is grab your little stars. You want a big and a little one for each card. And if you're cutting your own kit, now's the time to die cut those. Haha, there's my stars. So I'm going to put the rest of these guys back in the bag and hold on to them for the next card. Let me show you where I got these adorable little stitched stars. That is from the Give It a Whirl dies. Love these dies. They've got the best accessories. So you get 2 of these little 3 piece star dies. And there's hearts and clouds and arrows and all kinds of great pieces in here. Of course, the Give It a Whirl is pretty cool too. That like Viewmaster kind of card you can do with this. But the accessory pieces in this die set are really awesome. You'll notice my little penguins on a polka dot background. So let's go ahead and make our polka dot backgrounds. You've got 1/4 of a package of the designer series paper, so you can do whatever background you want. I'm going to stick to that polka dot because I really love the way it turned out. And I did a 2-inch circle punch. You can do the 2 1/8 inch layering circle, but you'll have a smaller Misty Moonlight border. So we need 4 of these. I got my 4 circles. Now let's get dimensionals on everything. I've got dimensionals on the penguin. I've got dimensionals on the presents. I've got dimensionals on the stars. So we're going to put some dimensionals on all of them and then come back and get this card all assembled. Now mini dimensionals are the best for this job. I'll put 2 on my penguin. I'll put 1 on each of the little presents. And before I'm completely done with dimensionals, I'm going to take this wide edge and cut little strips and just put a piece of this little strip behind each of these little antlers just to make sure it arrives in good condition. That's the nice thing about the little mini dimensionals. You can cut that border into little strips to support the narrow pieces. All right, everybody's got dimensionals and everybody's sorted to his card. Let's go ahead and add the flat layers first. So we're going to add some liquid glue and our dot paper and some liquid glue and our sentiment. Glue it down flat. And then liquid glue for the trees. It's going to go up a little higher, one a little bit lower. In fact, we're going to tuck the trunk of this one under the greeting just a bit. Now we can adhere our little stars on top. Watch the fold, don't go past it. So cute. Now our little penguin star of the show, let's get him sticky. This guy goes just a little bit left to center, sitting on that greeting. Can embellish with a little present under his flipper. And we need some bows. Got the gorgeous gray granite shimmer ribbon. You can go ahead and tie all the bows at one time too. If you're doing this Stamp-A-Stack, each card has a little bow, so you can tie all 10 at one time. That's the idea behind these Stamp-A-Stacks. You're going to have 10 cards done. You're going to have them done so fast because you're going to do everything in batches. So there's our little bow for this card. And I've got the other 3 already prepared. Need a mini glue dot for our bow right on the back of the knot. Add that one almost at the end of the greeting strip. And 3 more little presents in a stack. I love these little presents in a stack. It was kind of a confetti, little pop-up colors everywhere. So we'll do a green one. A little too close to our penguin. There we go. And a blue one. And a little freesia. That's just so sweet. All right, we got a few copies to catch up in order to stamp a stack. All right, there they are. Aren't they cute? Let's embellish them. I'll bring them up a little bit. So you got these pearls in your kit. And I'm going to do 3 pearls, and I'm going to use all the colors, 1 on each card. So I'm just going to start right at the top and add some little bling here. Uh-oh. And then we'll do the lavender one. I'm going to do that on one that has just jade for the bulk of the designer series paper pattern. That's the fresh freesia. And then let's do this pretty little balmy blue. And last, the Highland Heather. Pretty fantastic, don't you think? That's 4 cards and 6 to go. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions about the Stamp-A-Stack, you can email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com to see if there's optional class packets available. Here, let me show you the one that I haven't cannibalized. See if there are optional class packets available. Buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop. Just sort in the right-hand menu. There's a product filter, sort to class packets, and tell you if we've got any of these left. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me for video number 1. I'll see you next time for the second design in our Stamp-A-Stack. Thanks for watching.